What's going on YouTube? CloudMV here, and I'm welcoming you to the OBC, that is the Omni Battling Collective. Thanks to Lucky Lad TV for managing this whole thing. Thank you as well for giving us an invite. But obviously, you see the screen, you see what this is. This is a draft analysis. We're going to be going over my picks, why I made them, what they are, what they're doing, all that stuff that my rodent-sized brain came up with. So basically, as you see this, we are color-coded into green, blue, pink, purple, whatever you want to call it, and red. That is going to symbolize tiers 1 through 4, from right to left. This was a UCL type draft. I'm not super familiar with them, but there's still a lot of fun to do. But obviously, these are not in the order I picked them. I figured it would be much easier to do it in the order of their tier, rather than the order of which they were picked. You know, I guess either has its ups and downs, but this is what I made. Deal with it. So, first pick of the draft, tier 1, we want Megazard X. Now, I've used it one time in a practice battle, but I love this thing. Oh my god, I love it. It's got 130 in both attack and special attack. 100 speed is pretty average, but with D-Dance, it's not even gonna matter. You can run defensive Zard X. It is a thing. It has Will-O-Wisp, and its defenses aren't super bad. It does have access to Defog, which I don't care what anyone says. It's completely viable, depending on the matchup. More so than not. Probably you're not gonna want to Defog Charizard, but it's possible. You can do it. Now with this team, I don't see myself running it, but let's not count anything out. Zard X was the perfect first pick in my opinion. It's one of the most threatening mons in the League format, just because it can do so many things, and it just hits like a truck. It's crazy. But moving to our second tier 1 mon, it's going to be Ribbons the Sylveon. Actually, our third pick. Sylveon's not terrible. It's not. I like Sylveon. I don't love it, but I don't dislike it either. It does what it does, but very well. I mean, it's a cleric. It can eat a lot of special hits. If you make it physically defensive, it can still eat some hits. Spec Sylveon is also really good. I love Spec Sylveon. I love faking Spec Sylveon. It's Sylveon. There's really not much that it does badly outside of being a physical sweeper. Because why? For our third tier 1 pick, we've got Thunderstruck the Zapdos. You know, we've been calling him Stormcaller for a good couple leagues now, and I felt like, you know, let's change it up a little bit. Let's give AC/DC some respect. So we've got Thunderstruck, and oh my god, I love Zapdos. Again, versatility. Versatility, in my opinion, is the key to this format. Zapdos can do almost anything. Almost anything. It's not going to be hazard attacking, obviously. We can go physically defensive, especially defensive. You can go Scarf, Specs. You can even make it a mixed attacker. It's not unheard of. Drill Peck is viable. U-Turn, if they have a ground type you're scared of, you can run that over Volt Switch. It's not unheard of. These things are possible. And I love Zapdos. I love every aspect of Zapdos. Every role of Zapdos. It's just such a fun mon to run. And it's almost prepping for a Zapdos is almost as annoying as prepping for a Mew, because it has so many roles, you never know which one you're going to be running into. I like Zapdos. For number 1 for our tier 2 picks, this is actually the second pick I made in the draft. Bruce Willis, the Unbreakable Fortress. I love this thing, man. Fortress is one of my all-time favorite mons, up there with Infernape and Zapdos. Unfortunately, we didn't get Infernape. I think Lucky actually sniped that one, but I'm not sure. But Fortress is one of my all-time favorite mons. You have access to every hazard except for webs, which is completely okay because you also have access to Rapid Spin, which means they can't set up their hazards while you can't trade hazards, pretty much, because I'm going to spin them right the fuck back. Fortress also has an unusually high physical attack, which I don't understand why people don't make use of. Yeah, it's easy to tack on Gyro Ball, but you can also tack on Rock Slide, Earthquake, Bug Bite, the aforementioned Gyro Ball. Sometimes people use Explosion. It's a pretty cheeky play. Stop Explosion really isn't terrible. But I like Fortress. I like Fortress a lot. It does a lot of crazy shit like Revenge, Counter. Counter's not unheard of, but, you know. But Fortress is definitely one of my favorites. I figure it's actually why we picked Sylveon for 3, because Fortress covers both of its weaknesses. And we have a clean switch in. Well, we have 2 clean switch-ins now if a fire attack comes at us. But it's going to put in a lot of work. I can already tell. I like to think I'm a good Fortress user. For our second Tier 2 pick, we've got Cable the Metagross, throwing some X-Men references there. If you don't know who Cable is, look him up. He's a pretty cool guy. And basically the Trunks of X-Men. If you don't know who Trunks is, then you're just at a loss, man. I don't know what to tell you there. But I've never used a Metagross. I've seen them get used. I've seen a lot of fun Metagross sets in the past. You got Agility Metagross, you've got Bandage, Scarf, even Specs Metagross. I'm particularly a fan of the Assault Vest build. That's a lot of fun. But we're going to be testing them out in the OBC. And I'm honestly very excited for it. Metagross does put in the work. It's a fantastic fairy check. But we're going to see how we run with that guy. For a third Tier 2 pick, we have Grimlock, the Nidoking, because Grimlock King. Nidoking is another mon I have never used, but always wanted to. Oh my god, it's right up my alley. Sheer Force with that beautiful special move pool. It's got amazing coverage. Understandably, its physical attack is higher, but you're going to find a lot better option on the special side. Covering Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Sludge Wave, Earth Power, etc. Flamethrower. Not to say it doesn't have any good physical moves. You have Sucker Punch. It doesn't get the Sheer Force boost, but it does have priority, which Nidoking lacks for the most part. It's not super fast, but giving it a Scarf is really going to help him out. Can also make use of Life Orb and Choice Specs if you're really trying to just be that guy. But I'm liking the look of Nidoking. I'm liking the moveset. I'm liking the coverage. I'm liking the typing. Oh my god, his dual stab hits so hard with Sheer Force. It's crazy. But we're going to move into our Tier 3 picks. First of all, we picked up Jellicent. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like this thing. I'm not going to say it's bad. Honestly, I saw the Cleveland Cavaliers pick up Volcanion, and I thought, well, better pick up Jellicent. But it's not terrible. I'm not a fan of it. I feel like it's too passive. But sometimes you really just need that passive wall. You do. It's got Will-O-Wisp, Scald. You can give it Toxic if you want to be that guy. You can run Substitute. You've got Confuse Ray. A Specs Jellicent sounds like a lot of fun between the Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball. We might be testing that out. I'm not sure. But Jellicent kind of speaks for itself. It's a big old goopy special wall. It does some stuff. Curse Body is a really cool ability, though. I like that. Physical Jellicent, I feel like is going to be going more times than not. But for a second Tier 3 pick, we've got Quasar, the Hoopa. Now, originally, Hoopa was Rhyperior. But after the initial draft, I mean, there was only 8 of us. There's only 8 of us. And we decided to kick off the free agencies immediately just to kind of round things out a little bit. So we dropped Rhyperior for Hoopa. I felt like at that point I had way too many defensive mons. I already have more defensive mons than I'm used to running. We have Sylveon, potentially Zapdos, Fortress, potentially Metagross, Jellicent, and then Rhyperior. No, that's too many for me. I can't do that. So we picked up Hoopa, who honestly can still be run especially defensively. It's just that quad weakness to Ghost and Dark, which I'm just not okay with. At the same time, again, there's only 8 people. The combination of Pursuit, Sucker Punch, Shadow Sneak, probably not going to be that much. So, Hoopa is going to be joining us. Got that giant 150 special attack power. That's going to be just fucking insane. Oh my god. But I like Hoopa a lot. Like, actually a lot. So I'm hoping it's going to be tearing some teams up. It is slow with that 70 base speed. And only has 60, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 60 base defense. It's just, it can't take a hit very well. And it's not going to outspeed too much. But it's, oh my god, it's a truck. It's an actual truck. Put that thing in Trick Room and watch it run. So for our final Tier 3 pick, we have Haunch Kyle the Haunch Crow. Mainly because if I didn't name this thing something to do with Kyle, he'd come at my throat. But at the same time, I've never seen anyone use Haunch Crow as well as Kyle. I've never seen it used. Another one of those mons I've seen a lot of, but never touched. But from what I have seen, Haunch Crow is pretty good. First of all, you got Moxie. Top that off with Sucker Punch, Brave Bird, Pursuit even, bam. Throwing that Life Orb, maybe tack on Roost for sustenance. Even Scarf or a Band. Haunch Crow is a lot of fun. It's another mon that's kind of slacking in the speed tier, but we're going to be taking care of that pretty well with our first Tier 4 pick, which is Leavanny. Now, by this point, I noticed a lot of my mons were below average on speed. Figured Metagross, Nidoking, Hoopa, Haunch Crow. Which would be a real problem if we hadn't just picked up Leavanny. Now, Lady Cobra is really going to put in some work here. Basically, we now have access to every single hazard in the game on our team between 2 mons. Just 2! And even then, Nidoking can drop some Toxic Spikes. It's 100% possible. But Lady Cobra is not to be slept on. Leavanny is so much better than given credit for. Not only does it have Sticky Web, yeah, that does prime use. It's true. But past that, Leavanny can do a lot of other things. It has access to Knockoff. It has access to Calm Mind, as well as Baton Pass. And its attack stat really isn't anything to sleep on. Leavanny is just, in my opinion, very underrated. I love Leavanny. Just as well, if you don't want to trade hazards, it has Magikarp. Just throwing that out there. Throwing it out there. But for our next Tier 4 pick, we are looking at Bellatrix the Strange Mismagus. This is another mon that I really love. And yeah, it's true. We have 3 ghost types on the team. I don't like to stack on types, saying that while we have 3 ghosts and 2 flying, as well as 2 steel, but I like Mismagus, especially since all 3 of these ghosts are going to be doing different things. We have Jellicent to eat special hits. We have Hoopa to just crush things. And Mismagus for... it can do a couple things. Mismagus can set up sweep on the special side. I prefer utility. I recall a match maybe a month or so ago where we brought a utility Mismagus. We carried T-Wave, Attract, Energy Ball, and Shadow Ball. It actually really helped us out. We were able to T-Wave the Mega Venusaur so the Swampert could take it out with Ice Beams without a problem. We did stop a Hitmonlee with Thunder Wave. We did stop a Donphan from doing anything by attracting it, as well as the Shadow Ball, Energy Ball combo putting in work. This is a Mismagus I tend to use a lot. I love that set. Just as well. There's just so many things you can do with a Mismagus. You can make a specially defensive Mismagus. The recent point that I was just talking about was physically defensive, and it paid off. It really did with the Cold Berry. Absolutely. It has access to Will-O-Wisp. You can even bring the douchebaggery set of Paris Trap. I love Miss Mages. I feel like I need to put in work here. I've noticed more so than not, I prefer tier 4s over anything else. Especially with this draft. We had the draft while I was at work. And for the most part, I'm sitting here like, oh my god, I need a tier 2. And I need a tier 3. I don't want any of these mons. Just let me have more tier 4s. My enjoyment for PU and NU really comes out in the draft format. Especially auction drafts. I usually have a lot of points left over because I'm usually stacking up on the lower tier mons. But our final pick of the draft, not the draft, mind you, our final pick of tier 4, I think our last pick was actually Onspro. But we picked up Poliwrath. Now this is one of the only mons I had planned on grabbing since the beginning. Just because Poliwrath is such an underrated mon. It's crazy how underrated this thing is. It's got fantastic typing. It's very well-rounded in all of its defenses. I think it has 90 or above in HP, defense, and special defense. It's got very high physical attack. And it can go either offense, to be honest. It does have access to bulk up. You can go for the rest talk stat. Poliwrath is, it's not bad. It's got nice options for physical offense, but honestly, special offense may be better. It has a higher attack stat, but its special attacks are dealing more damage. Figure Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Focus Blast, Vacuum Wave. Oh yeah, the damn thing gets Vacuum Wave. But Poliwrath is a ton of fun, a fantastic sub-punch user. And I definitely plan to use this thing as much as possible. But guys, there you have it. That is our OBC draft analysis. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, don't forget to check out the other players. We have about 7 other ones. You'll be able to find their links down below in the description. But again, please make sure to go down there, check them out. But until our team builder for week 1 comes, that will be it from me. But for now, guys, stay frosty.